Hello, how are you? I hope all is well with you. You might notice that it feels a bit echoey or sounds a bit echoey in here. I am in my packed up treatment room office, moving house at the end of this week. So everything is packed and the whole house is echoing. So apologies if you hear that, but I hope you're well. This week I had fully intended to be live with you today on Monday the 6th of June, live on Facebook at 1 o'clock, but life has thrown me a few lemons in the last few days, and I am unable to attend to a live call today because I have to go and visit my wee mum who is in hospital. So as I say, a few curveballs. Life was busy and chaotic as it was, with a house move into temporary accommodation and then into a house. So moving twice in 1 month clearly wasn't enough of a challenge. So the universe threw me the curveball of my poor mum needing some hospital care. And hopefully she'll be okay. But it is just a little bit of added concern, obviously, at this moment. But long and the short of it is, I thought, well, what can I do today that would help both myself and maybe someone who's listening to this? So I thought I would lean into the tarot cards and actually dig, rather than pulling out one of the oracle cards like I have been doing over the last few weeks. I thought I'll actually ask the cards that I use personally for my own readings and for professional readings. So that is the Tarot of the Old Path, and I have drawn 3 cards for us today. And the question, when you're using tarot cards, it's really important that you have a question and that you ask a clear question so that you get a clear answer. If you have a wishy-washy question, you get a wishy-washy answer. So I thought I would ask, how do we stay resilient in the face of adversity? In other words, when life starts throwing you curveballs and all your best laid plans go completely to the wall, how do we cope? How do we stay focused? Because it happens to us all, and it's happened to me this week. Because I have had everything very carefully planned, and then it all kind of went poof up into the air. So, what cards have come up? The first one that came up today then was the King of Rods, King of Wands in a traditional deck. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, he holds, like, he has this blossoming rod in his hand. He still has this here, this wand, and you can see the leaves coming off the top of it. In the traditional Rider-Waite, he's sitting on a throne, and he has a cape and a throne decorated with lions and salamanders. There are some of the same symbols in this card. It's just a slightly different deck, but the vibe is the same. Symbol of fire, strength, infinity, moving forward against adversity. So it's a perfect card to come up. Real fire, divine masculine energy, that yang energy, about being the visionary leader in your life. Okay. You can feel the strength emanating off this card. It's a strong card. So I think first and foremost, the cards are offering some strength, because we all need it when things go a wee bit belly up. So when this card appears, it is usually a sign to step into more of a leadership role rather than trying to do everything yourself. Take on the aspect of the king. If you think about this, his role, his rank, he may well be the visionary and have the creative ideas, but he wouldn't be the one actually implementing them. He would build a team and have the team implement them. So you need to do that. You don't need to do everything yourself. Okay? I don't need to do everything myself. Ask for help, build the team. Okay? Have the vision of what it is you need or you want, and then build the team to create it for you. Okay? But also, this means that you have to be focused and determined and be the charismatic leader that draws people so that you can inspire people to help rather than just it being a very demanding thing. So it's about being charismatic, being determined, being focused, and allowing people to naturally gravitate towards you in order to help you. Okay, so think about maybe the best boss or the best manager you've ever had. Someone who inspired you, someone who wasn't afraid to get their hands dirty, but who then also stepped back and let you get on with the work that they knew you were able to do. It's that sort of a vibe of being able to inspire confidence in your team and to direct and, steer people in the direction you want them to go, but also to accept the help. And that's what he's all about. It's about living your life with intent. And this has been a key message over the last few weeks, as you know, be focused, one thing at a time, don't be afraid to ask for the help and don't be afraid to build the team. So this is really relevant for me right now as I start to build a care team to help with ongoing and future care for my mum. And also building a team of people that are going to help with regards to the house move, and we have that in place, and we've been working towards that. So very relevant for me, stepping into more of a director's role, stepping out of the comfort zone of doing everything yourself, actually letting go of the need to do that and allowing others to help take up the strain. Okay, does it resonate? It certainly does for me. Second card then is the Magician card, okay, numbered 1 in the major arcana, number of new beginnings, new opportunities, also associated with the planet Mercury, which has just recently moved direct again after a period in retrograde. So hopefully life will begin to move forward with clarity. Having said that, it was on Thursday that my mum went into hospital, so on the day that Mercury went retrograde. So I'm not sure how I'm resonating with that. Anyway, the Magician in my deck, as you can see from the card, if you're watching the video, if you're listening on the pod, he's sitting in a grounded position, so he's very grounded, but he has antlers on his head that are open up to the sky, symbolizing connection above and below. He's runes on the ground, he has a sword in his hand, he's got a wolf protecting his back, there's a fire blazing beside him, a cup sitting on a stone. We've got a unicorn in the background beside a stone circle, looks a bit like Stonehenge. We've got lightning in the sky. We've got a full moon and a unicorn in the background with a starry sky. So there's lots and lots and lots of natural elements here, lots and lots of magical elements. And it's really about the symbolism of the spiritual realms and the material realms. And the magician being the person, the alchemist who brings them together. Okay. It's about that relationship between the two realms, okay? And he has everything he needs. He's got elements of earth, air, fire, water, all the elements he needs in order to bring things from spiritual reality into physical reality, okay? He's a master manifester. Bringing everything you need. So it's a reminder you already have everything you need within you. You already are strong enough to deal with whatever's coming your way. You have, the spiritual fire, you have the earthy energy, you have the mental ability, you have the emotional intensity and ability to manifest everything that you need. But the key is to bring all these things together and then to allow them to be greater than the sum of their parts. So that's the true alchemy here. So act on those inspired visions. Act on the things and the ideas you've been having. What have you been planting and what ideas have you been having in your head? Now's the time, okay? You must establish your clear vision and know why you're going after it. It's not just good enough to have a materialistic view for it or an ego motivation of, like money, status or fame. It has to be a soul level of why. Why is this important? What is needed here? And remember then that you can bring that powerful intention to bear using the tools at your disposal. But it's also very much about focus. You can tell even with this card, the magician's looking directly out of the card at you, and it's about that clarity and focus. It's about not scattering your energy all over the place, because we do when we're busy, and when things kind of go a bit belly up for us, we kind of scatter and everything goes all over the place and we go, don't know what to do. And then we try and do everything. So this card reminds us to do one thing at a time. Because if you do one thing at a time, then you get that thing done and you can move on to the next, rather than trying to multitask and scatter your energy. So drop any other distractions. This is also when things go completely crazy, it's time to focus on what needs sorted and drop all the other distractions. Okay, you can pick them all up again another time. So for me right now, my priority, yes, I still have a house move. That is a big priority. I can't drop that because I physically have to move on Friday. However, it is in hand, and it is a distraction now that I don't need whenever I am focusing on caring for my mum at this moment. Thankfully, the hospital are caring for her at this minute in time, and I am just liaising with them. So for me, it's actually about being able to just navigate through what needs my focus at any one time. So I think that's what the card is saying to you. Focus on the one thing that's important right now and allow all other distractions to fall by the wayside. Okay? You've got this. You'll be okay. Ultimately, as well, remember, it's not the things in life that stress us, it's how we respond to them, which a famous philosopher Epictetus once said, and he was right, because we can choose ultimately how we respond. And sometimes we fall into our default response of stress and, but actually, if we can pause and take a breath, and the Reiki principles really help with that, just for today, bringing it back to just for today. I'll release anger, I'll release worry, I'll be grateful, I'll be honest, I'll be kind. Leaning into those principles and leaning into maybe your spiritual practice does help you take a step back off the front line of the crazy and gives you a moment of pause so that you can respond rather than react. So it's about that law of attraction of whatever energy you're putting out, you're going to get back. So if there's lots of stuff coming your way and you're firefighting and pushing all the energy away quickly and trying to, you're just meeting the stress with stress, then you get more of it. It will just increase the fire. So pause, take a breath, take a measured approach, and then take action. Okay. And the final card that's come up today is the Queen of Swords. Okay. So swords are all about mental clarity and intellectual ability. So it's all about the mind and rationality. But we also then have the maturity and the receptiveness of the divine feminine in the Queen. Okay, so we've got the two sides here of the same coin. So it's about having the ability to use your intellect and your unbiased judgment on something, but also about being flexible and open to input, being receptive as well. So it's not just about you dictating, it's about also being receptive to possibly being flexible on that approach. In this instance, it's very much about the head leading the heart. And normally we would talk about tuning in, dropping into your heart and letting your heart lead the way. But there are some times when you need to let your rationality come in, because if there's a lot of emotional intensity, your emotions can distract you from what really needs to take place. Especially, I'm feeling this is very relevant for me, because obviously if I'm starting to think about care and care packages and things like that, empathy and compassion can get in the way of, maybe she can manage, maybe she can do this, maybe it's okay. But rationally we know that the help is needed. So it's about balancing those things. Okay, so it's about not really allowing your emotions to overrule the decisions that actually are right. So about, in this instance, letting the head rule the heart, being discerning and uncovering the facts from all the hearsay, because it's quite easy as well when all stuff's happening, whether it's a personal issue like what's going on with me at the moment, or whether it is a work-related issue or a world issue. There's a lot of hearsay, a lot of fake stuff comes out there, and a lot of fake news. We've had that over the last few years. We've had lots of, running down rabbit holes of conspiracy, and it scatters your energy. So take a step back and be discerning and lean into your intellect. You can balance the two, so head and heart are singing from the same hymn sheet, but sometimes when you're very emotional and overly emotional, it's hard to discern fact from fiction at this point. So this card's a reminder to just lean into the rationality just for a moment. To make sense of your environment, you need the facts. Okay? You need to navigate through the situation you find yourself in by finding out the exact facts of what is happening and what is available help-wise for you. Okay? And it's not that you don't care about other people, it's just that you are having an intellectual connection with people at this point rather than a deeply emotional one. Be open, hear the thoughts and opinions of others, but ultimately, remember you're the visionary leader here, you're the alchemist, you're the person who's making the changes. So, you may need to tell it like it is. You may need to just get straight to pierce through the confusion and the veil of illusions and just get straight to where it is, how it is, and then sort it out. And sometimes Sometimes this poor Queen of Swords gets a bad rep because she looks like a cold fish, but she's not. She's really not. She's just got really clear boundaries. She's very assertive, and she keeps her softer, more vulnerable side for those who are behind the inner wall. So she's had to be strong. So it's a card to remind you that you may have to stand up and be strong here, establish very clear boundaries, and then tell people what you expect of them, and don't allow those boundaries to be breached in any way. And people will then start to come to you for advice because they'll see that you are actually able to do that. So it may be that you become the leader again. This is very much about stepping up. Okay. So in summary, the question was, how do we stay resilient in the face of adversity? And I think the answer has been very clearly given by these three cards. So firstly, take the lead, get an inspired, supportive team around you and use the help offered. Okay. And be the driving force, but you don't have to do it all yourself. Secondly, stay focused. Okay, doing one thing at a time, monitoring your intentions and the energy you're putting out so that you're shaping the reality that you want. Okay, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Okay, listen to your inner guidance. You may also always need to have a plan B so that you're flexible and adaptable. And thirdly, clear thinking is needed. Remove any emotional intensity, okay, from the situation. Be discerning, establish your clear boundaries, and be determined to hold them in place. You are strong, you are determined, you've got this. So hopefully these cards help if you're in a tough place right now. I know they've really shed a bit of light and clarity on things for me as I navigate these next few weeks of navigating my house move, and my mum, and various other things that are going on in the background as well. And as I say, sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. So if you need help, do reach out and speak to someone. You don't have to do it all by yourself. And I am here to help if you need me in any way. I am obviously doing lots of stuff and have things going on at the moment and may be taking a bit of a back seat over the next little while, but I am still here and I will respond to you just as soon as I possibly can. So I hope these cards have helped. Thank you as always for your support and for tuning in to check these out. You can obviously get the video on Facebook or YouTube, podcast on SoundCloud, and the blog is already on the website. And if you're on the mailing list, you'll get links to them all later on this evening. So thanks so much as always, and I'll speak to you again soon.